Am I the asshole? For disciplining another person's child and ruining my sister's birthday? My husband M35 and I F34 were recently at my sister's F40 birthday party, which was quite big. A lot of family and friends were there, many of whom we had not met before. As the evening drew on, many people with young children left, but by the time the party was wrapping up at midnight, there were still a few teenagers around. My sister has two teenagers herself, F16 and M17, and they had all stuck together most of the night, so I hadn't interacted with many of them at all. That being said, while I was lending my sister a hand and helping to clean up, I overheard a conversation between my niece and another boy M18. He was trying to encourage her to take some of the leftover alcohol before the adults noticed, and my niece was repeatedly telling him that she did not want to. At this point, I will not lie, I was absolutely eavesdropping because it seemed to be getting worse and worse by the second. I think they thought they were being quiet and not drawing attention, but didn't anticipate me standing where I could hear them. I decided to step in when the boy told my niece that she could cop a feel if she took some of the alcohol, and he would show her a good time later. My niece said ew, gross, and I walked over and asked the boy how dare he speak to someone like that. He looked like a deer in headlights when he realized I had overheard the whole thing and kept stuttering, but I told him that he still had a lot more growing up to do if he thought any of what he said was okay. I told him that he should be ashamed of himself for showing so much disrespect to my niece. I said that she had already told him that she didn't want to take the drinks, and to try and pressure her and bargain with SX was a horrible thing to do. I hadn't noticed, but the boy's dad M37 had come over while I was talking and said that I had no right to discipline his child, and that his son had done nothing wrong aside from being a teenager. He said that I had emasculated his son in front of a peer, and I was shaming him for having urges which are totally normal for his age group. He did start to raise his voice at me when he was asking who I thought I was, which is then what attracted the attention of my husband and the rest of the party. My husband told him to back off and not speak to me that way, which is when my sister basically threw us all out and called me an embarrassment. She has subsequently texted me saying that I am not welcome again until I apologize to the boy and his father, and her whole birthday was ruined because I had to stick my nose where it didn't belong. She said the boy's dad was actually a co-worker of hers, and I have made her work life hell when it wasn't my place to say anything from the beginning. I am now starting to feel quite bad. Was I the not the asshole at all? I understand your sister is upset because of the co-worker relationship, but that boy needed to be embarrassed. It's evident why he behaved the way he did. Apple falling, tree close. He certainly wasn't going to be disciplined at home. In fact, you are so not the that I'm issuing a public thank you to you for your service to the community and to your niece. That child is 18, at that point it's not disciplining a child, it's calling out a bad behavior, adults' bad behavior. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Ask your sister how she'd feel about having a pregnant teenage daughter. For the dad, sorry you failed to raise your son properly, not to pressure girls into sex and stealing, was trying to keep my niece safe. This boy repeatedly harassed your niece to steal and drink alcohol when underage and to have sex with him despite her repeatedly telling him no. You weren't shaming a boy for his urges, as his poor excuse for a father insisted. You were confronting a boy who apparently isn't familiar with the concept that no means no. About underage drinking. About sex with him. About anything. As for your sister, what is she thinking? And what kind of message is she sending her daughter? That the boy's behavior was okay and facing him down was inappropriate? Wow. Not the asshole. Definitely not the asshole. So your sister is okay with the pressure to steal alcohol. The pressure for sexual acts. She's more worried about the co-worker who is doing a bad job of raising his son than all the other stuff. Not the asshole. Considering your sister threw you out, and wants you to apologize to this guy's father, her co-worker whose son tried to coerce her younger daughter into sex and drinking, I'd ask her, exactly how long has she been having an affair with this guy? The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men women to do nothing. Edmund Burke. The let him be, boys are boys attitude are why so many people get away with what they do to women. Not the asshole, your sister is absolutely disgusting. Oh heck no, that young man was way out of line. The dad and your sister are so wrong. You did the absolute right thing. Good for you for standing up for your niece and good for your husband standing up for both of you. Your sister should be ashamed for not supporting her daughter who was trying to do the right thing and being taunted, propositioned, and harassed. You are not the asshole. Please be sure to let your niece know she was doing the right thing and that she always has a safe place with you and your husband. Not the asshole. This kind of boys will be boys type of treatment is what raises future rapists and sex offender. BC they think their urges are more important than someone else's feelings. And that they can get away with such crimes. So sad that your sister isn't willing to protect her daughter. It just teaches her child that if something were to happen and they didn't defend themselves, then it is their fault. And that their own mother won't support then BC they need to stand up for themselves. Ugh. This is interesting. I was gonna call this a fake rage bait story, until you added the extra details. And I know women who are like that and will coddle boys but have firm rules for ladies. I also know women who often side with men who they are romantically involved with over their own child. And I know women who try to raise strong independent daughters who can take care of themselves. So, not the asshole for standing up for what's right over teaching some existential lesson. Not the asshole. Thank you for stepping in and protecting your niece and future females. How can we expect you woman to stand up to this behavior if we don't show them how? Mother of a teenage girl, I would be pissed if my family ignored that sort of behavior. You sister is more concerned about saving face. If this is how she treats you when his father started shouting at you, just imaging what she would have said to your niece if she stood up for herself. She would be blaming her for ruining the night. Not the asshole. So your sis is okay with that boy sexually harassing her daughter? Someone at a party sexually harassed her daughter and she's concerned about her social life at work? Wow. Mother of the year over here everyone s. Not the asshole. Editor word. Not the asshole. You correctly defended your niece from a gross situation wherein she was being pressured with both sex and alcohol. Would your sister rather you leave the boy to encourage her daughter into underage drinking? Even if nothing happened, I bet the niece was somewhat happy that someone had her back in that situation. I know I would be. I'd message her and tell her exactly what that boy was trying to get her daughter to do under her nose. So an 18-year-old boy was trying to talk a 16-year-old girl into drinking alcohol, presumably in a country with a legal drinking age of 21, and then having sex with her. The 16-year-old girl was clearly uncomfortable saying no, but the 18-year-old boy kept pushing. WTF is wrong with your sister? Not only are you not the asshole, she is. Very much so. Not the asshole at all. It's pretty clear where the kid gets his future sexual assaulter-esque attitude from. Absolutely disgusting that your sister reacted the say she did. The difference between a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old can be massive. He's almost 18. How long until his birthday? What he was doing was 100 sexual harassment and actual crimes. Your sister is insane and your niece is very lucky to have someone like you in her life. Not the asshole. Hell would freeze over before I apologized. Once upon a time I was a teenage boy. I did many stupid things, and also had lusty urges. But you know what I never did? This. This is not normal behavior and needs to be called out, just like your did. Your sister is having a hard time. Her daughter was sexually harassed at her birthday party. She should be pissed, just not at you. Not the asshole.